Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is new. Today I want to tell you a story about the time that I adopted a dog and he tried to kill me. I'm not kidding. So me and Cam, when we moved into our apartment, both of our parents, we grew up with dogs, and so we knew that that's something we really wanted. We really wanted a dog. And his birthday was coming up, so I thought, what better gift to give your loved one than the gift of love of a dog? So we were looking on Pet Finder, Pet Tinder, if you will. And I had found a dog that I knew we wanted to meet, so we went to the shelter on our day off, and we're looking at this dog, and we were in a meet and greet. And when you're in the meet and greet, you basically have dibs on the dog, so if you decide you want him, you gotta do it right then, right now. So we were in this meet and greet with this dog, and we loved him. He was great. He seemed great. So we were well, we don't want to lose this opportunity, so immediately we'll take him home. We'll take him. So we took him home, had him for about a month, and they told us when we adopted him he didn't like being restrained, and he didn't like having his neck touched, which fair. But otherwise he was a great dog. And so we took him home. We had him for about a month. And then it's Cam's actual birthday rolls around, so we had a little family cookout. His dad, his sister came, his brother, his other sister, a couple friends, no big deal. And then one of his friends stayed later, so they were hanging out, and I was ready to go to bed, and the dog always followed me into the bedroom and went to bed with me, and he slept on a rug in front of our bed. That was his bed, was he liked that rug. I don't know, we were gonna get him a dog bed, we hadn't had him that long, and so he's on, he's about to go lay down on his rug, and I wanted to go to bed, and so I pointed to it, and I was okay, go lay down, buddy. And he just snapped, and he went for my arm first, and then I shook him off, and then he came back for my chest, and so I pushed him off again. He came back for the same arm, and then Cam, at one point I screamed. Cam heard me scream, and he opened the door, and I had been trying to get out of the door, but the door was all scratched up and crazy. If I can, I'll post a pic of that here. But Cam heard me scream, and so he was he opened the door, and I fell out, and there was just blood everywhere, and there were little pieces of me hanging out of the holes, and I was freaking out. I had never seen that much of my insides before, and I didn't ever want to again. And Cam was well, what if we run it under cold water? If you're ever injured in that, no. That didn't help. That made it way worse. It hurt a lot more after that. Thank you. So he was we gotta go to the emergency room. I don't even know how to bandage that. That's bad. So we go to the emergency room, and when you first get there and they're what's your insurance? What's your last name? What's your address? What's your phone number? And I was screaming in pain, lady, we don't have time for my address. I am in pain. And so they got us back into a room, got me on some pain medicine, and then to suture it up, they were just squishing all the fat back into the holes, and I was just remember thinking can you put that back? It's been out of my body now, is it allowed to go back in? And they were just and then I ended up with 9 stitches, and at this point I completely forgot about my chest. I might have had stitches on my chest, but I almost forgot that it even happened because my arm hurt so bad. And then this ended up being way uglier. That could have been really bad with all this soft tissue. Stop it. Sorry, my cat's being a psychopath. We switched to cats. We're cat people now. So we get home, and I call my boss. I'm a hairstylist. So the really bad thing about this was that I had to call all my clients the next day and move them around, and I book up months in advance, so it was sorry, can't get you in with Ashley right away. So some of them had to go to other people. Like, that's bad. It's not fun for the front desk at the salon to have to call everybody and reschedule. So I went back the day after, the next day, and had to work still. And I remember the assistant of the salon had to do all my shampoos for me because I couldn't get my stitches wet. I had those for a while, and then it took a long time for all the muscle to heal back. I guess, like, when you go through something like that, the, like, actual, what did they call it? Like, basically him biting down, and, like, the force of the bite caused a lot of damage to my muscles, so that was bad for a while. And then the very next day, my mom was like, that dog is going back. Like, he has to go back to the shelter. You can't keep him. So the day after it happened, we took him back to the shelter. We filled out all kinds of paperwork about, like, what had happened, and they, like, wanted the pictures. We had to send those. And then we didn't know what had triggered him, so they did what's called behavioral testing. Hey, buddy. And they basically, like, just tested his behavior to see what his triggers were for a while. And they came up with, he is spontaneously aggressive. He has no triggers. That's just how he is. And so they sent him to live on a rescue with other aggressive dogs. He's living his best life. They sent me pictures of him walking with other dogs for a little bit, and he's happy. But yeah, and we, at one point, like, Cam, I think a week before me, had, like, left the doors open. He was, like, grilling outside, and the dog tried to bolt out the door, and he, like, grabbed him by the collar, and, like, he didn't like his neck being touched, and he didn't like being restrained, so he turned around and bit Cam on the arm. But it wasn't, like, bad. He, like, had 2 holes where the, like, puncture was, but it wasn't bad, and we kind of justified it, like, oh, like, you know, you grabbed him by the collar, he didn't like that, we won't do that again. And then just kind of let it go after that. Then yeah, he ended up trying to kill me. So I think that's the whole story. I think that's all the deets. That's the time that I got attacked by a dog that I had adopted, that I had given love to. And it just goes to show, like, when you abuse animals, how detrimental that can be to their mental health. Because this dog was not okay from something that someone had done to him. So I wish him well. I forgive him. Yeah, that's my story. This is probably going to be a series. I have the worst luck. Every time I turn around, something weird or, like, bananas is happening to me. My friends are always like, wow, like, it must just be you. There's always something, Ashley. So I am going to make this a series. There are going to be more, I'm going to call them bad luck story times, that are going to come after this one. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, because there will be more videos where I tell you more crazy things that happen. And I like showing these pictures to literally anyone who will look at them, because it's the most traumatic, like, injury I've ever had in my life, and it's fascinating to me. I don't know. So if you don't get, like, grossed out by, like, really gory pictures, I'm gonna drop those after this video. Like, towards the end of the video, I'm gonna drop them. And then if you are queasy, then this can probably be the end of the video for you. Also, I guess you can meet, since we're cat people now, this is Bagheera. This is my baby kitty, and I love him so much, and he's the sweetest soul in the whole world, but he's also really psycho sometimes. But right now, he's being the sweetest soul in the whole world. You'll probably see him in more videos, so if you want to see more Bagheera, hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching our video. We'll put out more. Good night.